Hi everyone, welcome to the Daily Review. This is Nathan Tusi with Winner's Edge Trading. I'm just going to do the review of the major currencies today and hopefully get you better prepared to trade the session tomorrow. The goal of this review is of course to increase your profitability as a trader, and the way we go about doing that is by giving you an overview of the market so that you can have a better idea of what's going on around the market conditions, and also to keep you out of making trades that we would consider the dumb money. In other words, we don't want the traders who are following our daily review to be just easy money for the market makers to take. We want you guys to be trading with a smart money and to have a broader, longer term view of the market and be able to take a lot of things into account to increase your profitability. So that's our goal, and that's what we're striving to do with this daily review. Hopefully it is very helpful to you, and we definitely encourage you to leave some comments or questions or anything like that below the video so that we can interact with you, answer any questions you have, or get into a discussion about anything that you're thinking about. Our whole goal here is to help you, so anything that we can do to help you, we highly encourage you to ask that of us, and we would be happy to do it. Okay, first things first, we'll get going with the news here. Huge news over the next 24 hours. Starting tonight at 12:30, a little after midnight, we have Australian cash rate and rate statement. So there's two big red tag events, some milder news throughout the night, and then tomorrow is a lot of big news. First of all, we have the G7 meetings going on all day. Then at 8:30 and 9 o'clock, we have a lot of red tag CAD news. There's three red tag CAD events right in a row, all going to be big things, along with a 10 a.m. Non-manufacturing PMI for US dollar. From 8:30 to 10 a.m., which is the bulk of the New York session, there's going to be a lot of news coming out. Make sure that you're paying attention to that, that you're focused on your trades, and you know when this news is coming out. If you have trades involving these currencies, often it's a good time to have your stop moved up to break even or locking in profit to make sure that the news doesn't take away your profit. Okay, so make sure that you're paying attention to that news because then later on in the night you have more Australian news. So the market's going to be affected basically the entire time for the next 24 hours with major news announcements. It should create a lot of volatility and good opportunities for us to make money if we're being smart. So the news is certainly a good thing if you're taking advantage of it. But you have to know what's going on in order to be able to take advantage of it. So as you go about your trading day, make sure that you have these news announcements in the front of your mind and that you are paying attention to what's going on around you. Okay, let's go ahead and start with our analysis. I'll start with the euro dollar, and we will get going with this. Here we have a little bit of a retracement on the euro dollar. As you can see, obviously, since the break of this level, which we talked about a long time ago, the US dollar has basically fallen straight down. We've had two minor retracements now. This one was the first one, which was rejected immediately, and now this one, which also seems to be going to be rejected here. So as far as what we can see here, this would lead us to believe that price is going to continue down. Euro is certainly not gaining much strength, even though there has been some US dollar bad news coming out. But it seems that the euro weakness momentum is going to continue to fall through. Our next major resistance level is this line down here that I have, so make sure that you pay attention to that. If you're short on euro dollar and planning on holding it, obviously anything you can do to lock in profit is beneficial, but make sure that you are paying close attention to this level, because if there's a massive price rejection back to the upside, you certainly don't want to lose a lot of profit after making a great entry and taking the euro dollar all the way down to those levels. Okay, so that's euro dollar, and it looks as though we're getting a rejection bar back into the direction of the trend. Euro shorts against the dollar could be a great trade depending on the follow through that we see over the rest of today's bar, which is only about a half hour, and then how all of the news shapes out tomorrow. Okay. All right. U.S. yen is at a somewhat level of resistance here. We have a little bit of previous support in this area, but nothing too major. As you can see, there was a slight bounce, but it's basically just kind of stair-stepping its way down, and we're just at a next step here. I fully expect yen to continue on this downtrend, as I think that the yen is going to continue to gain strength as a currency, and this trend line is remaining very nicely intact. So we might have a great short opportunity if it comes all the way up to this trend line, and have a good opportunity to take that short. It would appear that the U.S. yen is going to continue the downtrend, depending on whether we see some continuation off this trend line here, and then a push back to the downside. Okay. Oops, I'm back to the euro. Let me show a pound. Okay, let me get my line off of here. Okay, so pound right now is showing some signs of reversal. We don't have any bullish movement to verify it yet, nothing green, as you can see down here. However, we do have some strong levels, as you see here and here, in this area. So this is a strong level. If we do see some bullish candles breaking the top of this shelf, that's going to probably create some great long opportunities. If you do get your long opportunity, for instance, if tomorrow's bar is a nice bullish bar breaking the top of this zone, and you decide that you're going to take a long, which will probably be a pretty good entry, you do have to be careful because of the sideways market that we're in right now. There's going to be a lot of resistance levels. Everywhere that the market is chopped around could be another resistance level, so you have to be very careful with that. That being said, not all of these resistance levels are going to matter very much because it is a choppy market. But that doesn't mean that that price isn't going to stall at a lot of these levels. So you have to be very careful as you're trading. This is a situation where if you're taking the bounce and the break of this level towards the upside, I would highly advise you trailing your stop and making sure that you're locking in profit and reducing risk, because this trade could go up, several hundred pips, or it could only go up 40 pips, and then turn around. When that's the kind of scenario, normally it is best to trail a stop. You don't want to, lose profit potential, and you certainly don't want to cap a trade at 50 pips when it could go, a few hundred pips. Okay, so that's the situation we're in there. I would highly encourage you to wait until you get some bullish movement before making an entry. Make sure that you're breaking the top of this level. Okay, let's move along to the odd dollar. Oh, I'm on the U.S. Swiss odd dollar. Okay, the Australian dollar is showing some decent stalling action here. We see that after this move, we have a slight bounce and then basically a free fall to the bottom here. But at this level, we're getting a little bit of stalling action. I don't expect the Australian dollar to bounce significantly because there's not a lot of good news in the Australian economy. Not to say that there's a lot of good news in the U.S. economy, but it tends to be when currencies remain neutral that they just go ahead and follow the trend that they're already on. That being said, with all the Australian news coming out tonight and then tomorrow evening as well, that could completely change the landscape of what to expect here. Assuming that there's some bad Australian news, you could see definitely a drop to lower on this trend line and a continuation of the downward direction. But if there is some positive news, then you could see a continuation of this rounding out process and a nice move to the upside. Okay, so definitely two scenarios there. Um, if you're wise and take advantage of the trade opportunity when it comes, there could definitely be some profit potential out of this pair. Again, I think this is going to highly be affected by that news. So I would wait for that news to come out before getting involved in this pair. As for me, I wouldn't want to be holding open positions while that major news announcement is coming out. Several major news announcements, actually. Another thing to note is that this is at a decent resistance level, or excuse me, support level, as you see here. So we're at a support level. Oftentimes with news, that doesn't mean all that much, but it is something to take note of. This level at around 97.30 is pretty good support. Okay. Let's take a look at USD Canadian dollar. As you probably know, the USD Canadian dollar has been on quite an upward momentum move since it broke this trend line level and then also this major resistance level, which had kept it in check for quite some time. We're getting a slight reversal sign right now. However, as you can see in the past, other reversal signs have been ignored pretty heavily by the USD strength. I do feel that the US dollar Canadian should turn around soon, and the reason I say that is just because long term you're in a pretty significant downward trend. If you take the past 3 or 4 years into consideration, you see that there was this spike, but other than this spike up here, the prices have tended to move lower from this level. So we're at a higher level. Certainly USD CAD could go up to this area or even higher, but this is a level where I certainly think that price could turn around and head down pretty soon. So depending on how much follow through we get with the current move to the downside, we will perhaps be looking to take some shorts there. I would suggest that it's probably still a little early for taking shorts right now, as the USD CAD has broken all of the other reversal attempts. So I'd wait and see some follow through. Perhaps if you get 3 daily bars in a row and you break a previous shelf like this, going in this direction, then that would be a little better opportunity to take a short on the USD Canadian. Okay, let's look at New Zealand dollar. New Zealand dollar is the same thing except for down. It broke a key level and has been headed down since then. The level is in this area. Obviously, it broke that level and has been headed straight down since then. However, we are at a pretty good support level here. If you scroll out just a little bit, you can see that it's been tested here, here, and now we're at basically the third test of this major level, and price has been chopping around for several days in this area. So depending on whether New Zealand or US dollar gets some good news or if the momentum shifts at all, we could definitely see a spike from here back to the upside, or a crash through this level. Certainly either one of those is a good possibility, and we should be looking out for either one. I would suggest that you take your line here and your line here basically, and if it breaks through here, you have a good percentage at a long winning, and if you break here, you probably have a pretty good percentage at a short trade winning. Normally when you build up a decent level like that, that's what it comes down to. So that's what I'm expecting with New Zealand dollar. This resistance, or excuse me, support level that it's sitting on is a pretty strong level. So definitely should be paying attention to that. Okay, as we know, Euro Pound has been in a pretty large downtrend. It did turn around at a pretty key support level and has made a few strides up. It doesn't seem to be moving up with a whole lot of momentum, mainly because the euro has remained to be very weak. But you do see that we had to move up, a retracement almost back to the previous low, and we've hit a slightly higher high. So when you see this very simple motion, normally that leads you to believe that you're going to get a continuation to the upside. That's kind of the very simple idea of a trend. If it makes higher highs, then that leads you to believe that it's continuing to go upward. So I'm not saying that we're definitely looking at an uptrend with euro pound, but certainly due to the weakness of both currencies, the pound and the dollar, you could get either one. With that said, we do have a candle that's turning around and showing some rejection to this newest high. Looks like a pretty good short setup actually, as it has completely eclipsed the beginning of this bar here. So even if it doesn't move all the way down, you could expect to see a slightly higher low that would be in line with this up move, and then a launch from there, even if it isn't an uptrend. If it's not an uptrend, of course, then it's going to turn around. Then this short signal could break all the way through here to newer lows. So perhaps a pretty good opportunity to take a short there. A decent sized bar for how small most of the bars have been on this chart. All right, let me see. Let's go to the euro yen. Euro yen is another pair that has been on a very fierce downtrend since the bounce of resistance level. Obviously, this is your resistance level that it bounced off of. Since then, it's made one pullback and basically been straight downhill. Right now, we've seen a very good tail pushing back up, and then a good daily bar showing continuation. So it's struggling with this area right now. Based on the yen strength, I can't imagine that we're going to see a significant spike. However, I certainly still would wait it out before taking another short. Perhaps you get a retracement up into this area and then a reversal. When the time comes and it does start to reverse back to the side of the trend, if it does, then that could be a very good short opportunity for the continuation of this long-term trend. Euro yen is one of the most bearish pairs out there when you look at the very long term. So any shorts that you're taking a long-term target on is probably a pretty high probability trade, and probably has a lot of room as far as your target is concerned. Pound yen also bouncing off a very significant level in this area. We've seen two continuation bars, and pound has gained a little bit of strength. We see that with the pound dollar moving up slightly, the euro pound heading back down today, and also the pound yen bouncing a significant amount after just free falling through here. So a good level here, two continuation bars after this stop, and this could be a pretty significant retracement. There's no really telling how high it could go, if it's going to go all the way back up and test this level, or if it's only going to be halfway centered, or if it's going to turn around and go back down tomorrow. There's no obviously way to gauge exactly where you're going to end up, but we do have a key resistance level here, so you need to watch that. That's a pretty big level. If it breaks that, then you might see a retracement all the way back down to this previous level here. So a lot of potential for pound to move up there. Certainly a lot of room as far as the pound yen is concerned. It could definitely make a move back up to the 127.60 area. Pound yen, as we know, moves a lot, so even if pound's weak and yen strong, there's still rallies that kind of come from nowhere with a volatile pair like that. So make sure that you are keeping an eye on this. Never know what to expect with pound yen, but if you get on the right side of the market, there's certainly significant profit potential in this pair. Alrighty, let's take a look at pound Swiss. Pound Swiss is not a pair that I like to trade very often. It's not a pair that most people like to trade very often, as it doesn't move a whole lot, and it's just a less traded pair. But with that said, there is a weekly opportunity that I wanted to point out to you. If you can see here, you see that there's obviously a very long-term downtrend concerning the pound Swiss, and each time we've had an opportunity to get back into the downtrend, it's kind of been floated and rejected, and we're seeing another level here. So this is probably a more significant level than the other ones that have been bearish because of this resistance and then also this resistance. So this could be a great weekly trade. Now, obviously, because pound Swiss does not move that much, it would require a lot of patience to hold this trade. However, there's definitely profit potential because you can have a very tight stop loss with a pretty large target. You could be targeting all the way down here. So there is a good setup here if you're interested in taking a slow moving trade and just holding on for quite some time in order to achieve a high profit potential. Let's move to the daily on the Euro odd and take a look at it. The Euro odd struggled at this level right here, which you can see that I've drawn. It's the bottom of this base. It's also the bottom of this base. It's where this level turned around and came into play. You see that it's been tested multiple times, and the reason that it's such a strong level is obviously because of how history has tested it so many times, and also it happens to be the 50 Fibonacci level from the recent high to low swing. So a very significant level that we bounced off there, and now we're seeing a slight retrace and perhaps a continuation bar. So this is a trade that Casey was looking at earlier with me, and we discussed that if it could break through some of these initial levels like here and here, that this could be something that does test the previous low coming all the way down here, which would be obviously an extremely profitable trade on the short side. So that's a trade that Casey and I are looking at, perhaps taking. I think it has a lot of potential on the short side as Euro continues to be weak, and if odd were to gain some strength, I think that this would turn around very quickly and head to the downside. Basically the same thing with EuroCAD, another trade that Casey and I are looking at. EuroCAD is in a pretty consistent downtrend, as you can see. For the most part, it's moved down, and right now we're at the trend line bounce. The problem is that it's definitely struggling here with some support. But if it breaks this level and goes through, then we could see a lower low, which would follow the bottom trend line, and this could be a really great trade to maybe trail a stop and hit a longer term target on. This is another trade that Casey is considering taking, perhaps on his copier account, known as the Catapult Pro. So a lot of good opportunities here for trades. Once again, the Australian news and some of the Canadian news coming out tomorrow will most likely have a great effect on how these markets move. But with that said, you can also make a lot of money during those moves. Speaking of trades that Casey made, Casey is in an odd long right now. This is a significant support level, a tail, and then a bullish bar. So Casey took a long on the close of this bar and is up on this trade. This is something that he's looking for a long retracement on. Of course, it's going to be a trade that could turn around at any point because of the downward momentum, but could also go to any level. So I'm sure he's going to be trailing his stop on this. I know he already has limited profit locked in, but he's expecting this to be a little bit longer term trade than perhaps his usual trading. So that's something that anyone who's on the copier account should be seeing some positive equity in their account from this trade here, with some profit locked in. So this, and hopefully combined with some of those Euro odd or Euro CAD opportunities, will provide another nice week for the Catapult Pro. If you're following the Catapult Pro, or if you're aware of it, you should know that over the last week it made 8 to 11%. I'm not sure what the exact number was. Following a poor week the week before, there was a few bad trades, and combined with a mistake on the copier account, that was a significant loss on the account. So we're battling back from that right now, making a lot of good trades, and I believe we're up somewhere in that 10 to 12% since Monday of last week. So things are looking good there. The Catapult Pro is a really good service, and even with a mistake from a few weeks ago, we're getting back on our feet and making some positive equity there. If you haven't checked out the Catapult Pro, make sure you do that. Get involved with that. It's the easiest system you can imagine to use, because all you do is set up your account, and Casey's trades just go directly into your account. It really is a convenient system to use. But anyway, it's a good opportunity to take advantage of the markets in that way. The last pair I want to look at is the Pound New Zealand. As always, I like to look at the Pound New Zealand last. If you remember, during this up rally, I don't know how many times in the trading room I said, it must have been a million, that we're waiting for the short opportunity. We're waiting to short. Here I said perhaps we'll get the short here, and then here, and then here, and then here. I just was waiting for that short opportunity. Finally, we got a reversal bar here, and it actually showed some continuation. So this probably would have been your shorting level right here, and it's moved nicely since then, just from the bottom of this bar. Oh wait, the bottom of this bar. It's moved about 250 pips. So definitely the opportunity that we were talking about. Hopefully you were monitoring the Pound New Zealand and able to take advantage of this move. I certainly don't think that this move is going to be over. I think that the Pound New Zealand has a lot left in it to the downside. So definitely a great trade opportunity to take advantage of. It looks like we're forming a stall bar now. Could be an excellent short if we see some continuation from tomorrow's bar. Okay, I think that's about it for today's daily review. I hope you enjoyed it. Certainly hope that it gave you some valuable information to base your trading off of, and that overall it is going to make you more profitable in your days of trading ahead. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day, a great week, and enjoy your trading.